Hello everyone, welcome to the new video of the Classical Games series. Today we will be looking at the game between Fleissig and Schlechter, played in 1893 in Vienna. So Fleissig was white, he opened with b4. It is a rare move, and there is a reason why it is rare, because black has so many setups that he can play against this move and achieve a comfortable position. Schlechter was black and he played e6, attacking the b4 pawn. White replied with bishop b2, putting pressure on g7, so bishop b4 is now not possible, because then bishop g7 comes and the rook is lost. So what black did, he played knight f6, protecting the g7 pawn and threatening to take on b4. So white defended with a3. And c7, c5. Black is reasoning, if this pawn is now hanging, and if white takes, then black can take with the bishop, develop, attack on f2, maybe later play d5, and quickly castle and achieve a comfortable position. White didn't want any of that, so he played b5, controlling some squares on the queen side, but there is a downside to this move, and that is that black can play d5, which he did, and now he has a nice central control. Also, these pawns cannot be opposed so easily because of what happened in the game, and this is the proof. White played d4, which is a mistake. He should not have touched this pawn, because then he weakens this diagonal once that pawn moves. So actually he should have played something like e3, develop his knight, develop his bishop, he should castle, and then maybe go for c4 or d4, depending on the situation. But he wanted to challenge black's center, and he played d4, and black immediately took advantage of that by playing queen a5 check. And now you see why d4 is bad, because with this check we are attacking the pawn on b5, and the only way to protect that pawn and cover the check at the same time is by going knight c3. But now this knight is pinned, so black immediately capitalizes on that and plays knight e4 with attack on the knight. Here white should not defend this knight like he did. He should instead just play e3, and if the knight is captured, then he should play queen d2, pinning the knight against the queen and winning it back. And black has a good position here, but it's not that good as it is after the move played, which is queen d3. And now why is this move bad? Because it allows black to take on d4, and just a second, sorry for that, my program went crazy. So it allows black to take on d4 with a tempo, and when white retakes, then black can go bishop c5, attacking the queen and attacking the f2 square. So now white is going to lose the f2 pawn anyway, so at least what he can do is to try to grab this guy and attack the rook. Okay, black continued with bishop f2, king d1, and now we can see that white's king is stuck in the center. He lost the right to castle, and he will stay there forever. That's obvious. And even though black's king is also in the center, black's king is more safe, because he has this pawn cover, and there are no white pieces there to attack it. The only white piece in the black's camp is this queen, but she is alone, so she shouldn't be able to do much. Whereas white's pieces are far away from the black king. On the other side, black has already 3 pieces here. And black decided to go for a very complicated line with d4, sacrificing the rook. And we will look at that because it's the game continuation. But the computer suggests here just to go rook f8, save the rook, and keep all the benefits of the position. Because now, as you can see, white doesn't have any more threats. Note he cannot take on e4 because this opens the path for the queen and she can just checkmate. And if he cannot take on e4, what else can he do? What else can he do? He can just start to develop his pieces, but black will also develop his pieces, and you don't see a way for white to, again, to attack this king. And on the other hand, very soon this king will get under heavy attack. But black decided to go for a very flashy move, and he sacrificed the rook. The rook was taken with a check, king e7, and now again white cannot take on e4 because of the same move as before, queen a1 mate. He can take on c8, and he did that, but that was actually not a good move. What he needs to do is he needs to start developing his king side. So for example, he should play knight f3, and let's say black takes here, you take, and we take with the queen, and now this guy is defended, so you cannot take it because it's a queen for free. So here black is threatening to bring this guy into the game through d7, c5, e4, or e5, c4 if this knight moves, and also the rook is hanging, so probably the rook would have to move. And here, even though white is a rook up, the computer assesses position as slightly better for black, which means that in the near future he would probably have to give up some material in order to fend off black's attack. But this is all very complex, and here in this position it really didn't look that dangerous to white to capture a bishop. After all, now he is a rook and a bishop ahead, and it's not so obvious how he is gonna get in big trouble. So he took the bishop, which is a mistake. He should have played knight f3. And now black plays d takes c3, attacking the b2 bishop and opening the d file. The bishop moved, and the knight was developed with the idea of attacking the queen and trying to deflect her. Here white accepted the sacrifice, which is a mistake because it will be shown very soon, but the right move was queen takes to b7. Why is this the right move? Well, the point is, with this move you pin this knight so he will have a hard time to join the attack, and also you protect this pawn. And it's not about the pawn, but this pawn is the entrance for the black queen to get to the d file. And just look at what happened in the game. So after knight d7, white took on a8, and now the queen took on b5. And now my program went crazy again. Now the queen took on b5, and she can easily get to d5 square and join the attack. So that was the reason why here, instead of taking the rook, it was better to take the pawn just to protect this guy, and stop the queen from joining an attack. So okay, black could play rook d8 here. I don't know why it doesn't let me move, but okay, let's go back. The point is, at one point white had to think about his own defense, and he just neglected that. At every opportunity to take material, he just took it without even thinking about the consequences. So let's see what the consequences are. After queen takes, queen took the pawn. There is a threat of going queen d5 check, and when the bishop blocks, then the queen delivers the mate. So white developed his bishop, freeing up the c1 square. Black gave a check, and the king has only one move. And what black would like to do now is to go with this queen to d2, push the king to the side, go to d1, push the king to the corner, and take on c2 and deliver a checkmate. But the problem is there is a bishop on f4, and this bishop protects the d2 square. So if black could only deflect that guy from defending d2, he could force a mate. And here he found a combination that will force the bishop off that diagonal. Let's see. It starts with a beautiful move, bishop e3 check. This has to be taken because if king goes to the side, then just a second, I need to somehow fix this problem. That should be fixed now. So if king goes to the side, the queen comes to d1, and this is the mentioned mate from before. It's just a checkmate. So white has no option but to take here on a3. But now knight f2, threatening mate on d1. Therefore white has to take the knight. If he tries to escape on this side now, then the death comes from the other side. After this check, king back, this is a mate. So after knight f2 threatening queen d1 mate, bishop took the knight, but then queen d2 check, the goal is achieved, and when the king moves, there is a forced mate, which is something like this. And therefore, after queen d2 check, white resigned. So as you can see, this is a beautiful, beautiful game with mistakes on both sides. The biggest one being here, somewhere, when white took this rook instead of playing queen b7 and stopping black's queen from joining an attack. And what I was trying to explain you there, but the computer didn't let me do it, is black could go rook d8 with the idea of attacking along the d file, but first he would need to remove the king, and I put this into an engine. It says that it's about equal, but to reach that equality, one would have to find a lot of good moves. That's it for this video, and see you soon.